Hello everyone, and welcome to Digital Diversity. As you can tell by the soundtrack, we are featuring the very wonderful Zen, a gay sequel. For those who don't know, about 3 years ago, I played the first one of these games by the wonderful Bob C Games. And it was about damn time I got back to the sequel. Hope everyone's doing well. My ZAGS LP is still the most best LP of it. Win. Now, I cannot promise that I'm going to do a full 8-hour stream of this one. So ZAGS, so Yearning, a Gay Sequel by Bob C Games. That took me about 8 hours of stream to get through one playthrough. It's a big game, and that was one playthrough, and I'm not going to do all the ZAGS, don't worry. Today we have Zen, or ZAGS. I do love the ZAGS, it makes me happy. First up, and then we have the case of the Serialized Killer, which both look very good. Hello everyone, I'm doing well. Anyway, welcome to Digital Diversity, a streaming and blog project all about LGBTQIA plus game developers and the games they make. Sometimes they are exceedingly queer, like this wonderful title here. I am very excited. I was very enthralled in the first game. That was quite early on in Digital Diversity. We hadn't even been going for a year, and at that point, and heck, it was a lot. So yeah, those who haven't played it, highly recommend go and get hold of Yearning, a Gay... Wait. A Gay Story. There we go. Brain. I can remember words. Yes, go get Yearning, a Gay Story. Go check out bobcgames.itch.io. And you will find all of Bob's amazing games. I am very excited for this. So my first playthrough of this, I ended up with the very wholesome boy who was too wholesome. I unfortunately have to say that I was young and I made choices, and I went for the boy who really liked board games. That was maybe not the best fit for me. The board games were fine, but the personality was not quite there for me. So we are playing the non-lewd way of playing this. There are plenty of features for lewdness. Lots of eggplant emoji kind of stuff. And I'm very excited. Reminder for those who may be new, it really helps if you follow, if you're watching this on Twitch, and if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, please subscribe. We're pretty comfy over there right now, but it's always good to see when new stuff is coming out. And as I'm ramping all this up, I will no doubt have a lot more content coming out, so we'll go from here. We have the wonderful Bob in chat right now today, so if I come up with any questions, I will be sure to ask and share them around. Oh, and ZAGS plus the bonus material and the premium version of all the other games is part of the Queer Game Bundle. Yes, there is a safe for work version. It is very wonderful. You go into the preference, you get the game, and you go into preference, and you go down to here, and you go nudity, no. Profanity, no. Minigames, no. Minigames are not safe for work, but you know, we'll see how we go. I do really appreciate having the ability to censor stuff like this, not because I am an advocate for censorship. I am an advocate against censorship, but I also understand that terms of service are a thing. And there is a reason why I cannot wear my slut t-shirt, which is official merch of Valhalla, one of my favorite games out there. So I can't see why I can't wear it, but this is Twitch and that is YouTube, so I have to be careful. You're a no minigame family. I don't know. Is it a fishing minigame? Wink, wink. You know what I'm talking about. I'm very excited to play this. We even got board games. Hell yeah. Oh, YAG style board games. Oh, yes. Plus, you get to choose which characters you want to have body hair. So if you're a body hair fan, you can have those. I'm not really a body hair fan. I don't mind. But you know, I like to see what's going on. Fishing is never a minigame, it's a metagame. I can believe that. Alright, I think all this is good. I always love Bob's UI. It's very clean but full of personality. Yes, Valhalla. I'm excited to get started. How about we get going? So this is a complete game in itself. You do not have to play Yearning a Gay Story, but I highly recommend it. Yeah, I highly recommend playing that, just because it gives you a lot of backstory. It was also Bob's first game, I believe, and he went ham on it. He went like full 10 out of 10 hams on that one, and I love it. And I appreciate the characters in that a lot more now than I did back then, so sorry I didn't appreciate them as much as I did back then. Now I totally understand them. So let's go. I'm excited. As you can tell, I'm feeling exceptionally gay today. Gay with excitement. How is everyone else doing? I'm just gonna have some tea quickly because this is gonna be a lot of talking. Alright. Everyone, find that bit of zen. Let's get going. Welcome to Zen, a gay sequel, or as we like to call it, ZAGS. My name is Carlos. This is a sequel, and it looks like you haven't played the first game, Yearning a Gay Story, yet. Lies. Carlos, you see this little, like, link down in the bottom right-hand corner? That is a link to the Digital Diversity YouTube channel, where you will see one of our first streams that we recorded for that channel was 2 4-hour blocks of Yearning a Gay Story. No, I think I just played it differently. This one's going through the installer. It might not remember it. Oh, I changed hard drives. That's why. It wouldn't remember it. For spoiler reasons, it's recommended you play YAGS first before tackling ZAGS. However, none of your actions in YAGS will affect the story. So they aren't going. So Bob hasn't gone full Dragon Age on me. But what happened with the dwarves and the elves? I don't know, Carlos. Don't ask me that question. Oh, I love that. I played it, but it was on a different computer. Win. That explains it. I hope you enjoyed that experience. I'll make a note so we don't ask you again. Before we start, I have to show you this warning about adult content. Yeah, I'm glad it had that note too. Warning, this game contains implied nudity, adult situations, strong language, underage drinking and alcohol abuse, and depictions and descriptions of gay sex and is not suitable for children. This game may also deal with uncomfortable situations such as violence, bullying, and depression. Viewer discretion is advised. Now, please note, folks, that we have turned off all of the lewd content, as far as I can tell. Yes, all the lewd content is on, and the slurs and the profanity off. Now, the profanity I don't mind, but as someone, like, and a bit of real talk, as someone who grew up dealing with a lot of slurs directed at me growing up, I don't react too positively to them. In fact, even though I am very comfortable with other people in the queer community using those words to describe themselves as a way of claiming those words back, 100%, I am totally behind that. I will still find that uncomfortable. I will never tell someone they can't, but I just try and avoid it when I can. So there you go. I have not turned the slows off because because I don't have to. I've turned them off because I just don't want to deal them. It's like dead naming and misgendering and shit like that. I don't want to have to deal with it personally. And always be aware of your limits, folks. If you do find a content warning that may indicate something that you can't deal with, there is no shame in putting the game down. Like, there is no shame in getting a refund if you've already bought it and didn't know because the person making the game didn't include it in the description. That is one situation where I am 100% behind people getting refunds for their games. If a game developer does not put content warnings in their games, and you as the player only encounter that in the game, I am behind you getting a refund for it. Yeah, that is 100% the point of content warnings, exactly. If you're a game developer and you do put content warnings in your games, thank you. Thank you for fuck. Thank you. Seriously. It looks like you haven't played the game before, so you may wish to change some settings about nudity, explicit language, or just set things the way you have. I've already done that, Carlos. Thank you very much. I'll send you the preferences screen. I've already done it. Oh, I do like that, though. Like, just technically being sent to the preferences screen from the main script. That's cool. I like that. A+. With that out of the way, in this game, you'll be playing as me. Aren't I always playing as me? If I'm not normally playing as me, who am I playing as? Oh god, I've gotten into existential crises already. Who am I again? Alright, I mean, I don't have Carlos's chin. I can't do that. I like my name, but I guess I could get used to a nickname. Is there a name you prefer instead? No, I'm fine with Carlos. Let me change your name. I'm going to call you Catboy. I'm glad you like my name too. Since you played ZAGS, we could skip character introductions if you remember from before. Yeah, if you're not playing as me, you're usually playing as you. That's why in Kaiju Noir, I list... I make it so it's you, not me. Even though that was a divisive choice, I know. Don't bother introducing the characters, I think it's more fun this way. Sure, and that should be it as far as setting things up. Remember, this might just be a game for you, but this is my life. Oh great. I'm counting on you to make decisions on my behalf. Is Carlos guilt-tripping us to make no bad decisions? Is this life as strange all of a sudden? Sunday, October 29, 2006. Oh god, that's a long time. Alright, have a good one, Leo. I slide down the wall in the hallway of the hospital and sit on the floor, a million thoughts running through my head. My friend Elliot just woke up from a coma after having his head bashed by some homophobic asshole. That's a way to start a game. Thanks, friend. It's only been 2 weeks, but it feels like it happened years ago. I can still remember that evening, watching in frozen horror as he was suddenly on the floor, blood everywhere. I should have done more. My best friend Adam and his roommate Chris sit on either side of me, looking at me with concerned expressions. I shake my head and stare at the floor. The expression on Elliot's face when he woke up looked at me still fresh on my mind. He looked hurt. He blamed me for what happened. Still blames me. Not that he would be wrong to. Somehow it seems almost laughable now that I've been considering asking him out. I tried to come out to him once, but couldn't get the words out. I'd asked to join me for a game of foosball instead, and he looked at me funny before agreeing. Is foosball like code? I'm not a big foosball player. Bob, is foosball code for hi, I'm gay and I'd like to go out with you? I'm pretty sure he knew. Okay, so obviously it is code. Okay. I wonder what he would have said if I told him, was he really gay like I'd been hearing and suspecting? Was he interested in me too? It isn't intended to be, but I think it should be. Okay, so everyone, you heard it first from Bob. Inviting someone to play foosball with you, which is like that little game with like the sticky players, I think, on the turny rods, and you kick the ball. I think that's foosball, isn't it? Yeah, inviting someone to play that is to say, yes, I'm gay too, and I would like to go out with you. So, know your code. I guess the hanky code is kind of outdated now, right? Where's my mouse gone? There it is. None of this would have happened if I'd been willing to be more honest about myself. He was defending me. Adam looks at me and I can tell he has no idea about the situation. Table soccer or table football, whatever. Yeah, I can't remember what they call it in Australia. I haven't played it in forever. Dude, it's my fault he was standing up for me. He was defending me. Because he knew. Because he knew I had a crush on him. The words were out before I knew it, and I freeze. Oh God, what did I just do? Wait, what? Adam stares at me and I try to interpret his expression. Confused, curious, I don't dare look at Chris. I stare at the floor instead, my vision suddenly blurring. This is not how I imagined telling anyone, especially the people I consider my best friends. I take a deep breath and bury my face in my hands, trying to force the words out. I'm gay, Chico. That's a relief, at least for the moment, to finally admit it out loud. I can't believe I just did that. I feel Adam's eyes on me, but I don't dare look at his face. I'm afraid of what I'll find there. If Adam took Chris's coming out well, this would be fine too, right? Still, I know it's not the same. He'd barely known Chris at the time, but Adam and I have been friends for much longer. As the seconds tick by, I can feel any hope for a positive outcome fading away. I knew it. You hate me. No. Oh God, scowly face, Adam. Wow. Oh, that's a face that Okay. I wince at the word loud in the silence and filled with anger, or maybe betrayal, or anger because he feels betrayed. Carlos, don't you dare say that. Don't you ever say I hate you. Don't you ever dare think that I hate you. That's promising. You're like a brother to me. You're my best friend. I love you. Wait, don't we try and seduce Carlos in the first game? I'm trying to remember. That was 3 years ago. He sighs and I glance over at him as he leans back against the wall. He looks hurt, but maybe that's a good sign. I'm, hurt, I guess? That you didn't tell me sooner? Yeah, Carlos is one of the routes you can take in the game. I thought so. I'm hurt that you didn't invite me out for foosball yourself. It's not exactly something I've told anyone before. Chris is the MC in ZAGS. But he has a sprite in ZAGS because he's an actual character with a personality. I mean, being a character with a personality is overrated in this world, you know. Just look at social media. No one wants to be a character with a personality on that place. Dude, you know that Chris is gay. You know I don't care. I know, I sigh and shake my head. I don't know. I look over at Chris, who's quiet as always. Damn him. You know what it's like, Chris. He looks back at me stoic as always, before nodding slowly. Yeah, I do. Adam sighs. Captions, can you please not interpret nodding as nutting? Please. Captions. Adam sighs. You're right, I guess. I just couldn't understand. But I'm glad you told me now. He puts his hands on my shoulders, gently turning me towards him. But dude, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Adam says dude a lot. I feel tears welling up in my eyes and I try to will them away, but then Adam pulls me into a hug and I'm crying freely. That, yeah, the anxiety feeling you're coming out to someone who knows other gay friends, but your brain convince you that they'll hate you for some reason. That's a big fucking mood. Uh, things are gonna be alright. You're still my best friend. And I'm sorry about Elliot. A quick shuffle of footsteps catches my attention, and Elliot's parents walk past Adam and into the room. I catch a glimpse of their faces, disapproval and fear, even revulsion. You're still so anxious at coming out to queer people? I mean, that's a big mood. Coming out is really hard, folks. Like, if you're someone who feels trapped and that you are queer but you haven't come out to people, it is hard. It feels really difficult, especially when it finally clicks for you. But it feels hard for everyone. I don't know a single person for whom it was easy to come out. After they came out, things either got progressively easier or harder depending on the society they were in at the time. But you are not alone. It reminds me of the look on my mother's face when she heard that one of my brother's friends had come out. She forbade him from seeing him again before dragging the three of us to church. Ah, yes, because we all know the church cures queerness. I'm not going to get into that debate, but I think y'all can figure out my opinion on this matter. Coming out hot tip, try to get it all done in one, and to come out first by being bi, then second by being envy. Oh yeah, no, I get that as well. When I came out, I wrote a blog post and I put everything in one and just went, hey everyone, read this. If you have questions, fine, but I don't want to talk to anyone individually. But did they think Adam and I are a couple? I push Adam away and lean back against the wall a little more forcefully than intended and shudder involuntarily. I can still remember the anger in her voice and the exact moment I realized I could never tell her, be myself around her. Did you see that? See what? The way they looked at us. I shake my head and squeeze my eyes tightly shut in some futile attempt to forget. Yeah, you're bi. How can you also be non-binary? Doesn't that go against? Fuck. Queerness isn't a process, a discovery of anything. Everyone should know exactly all their labels and everything. And me, oh fuck, that's a big mood. Like, that's the thing. These are two of my flags, like, of my identity. I think I have about 11 at this point, like, up here, not for real. Like, the sheer number of, like, the sheer kind of levels of identity queer people go through in their lives as they are figuring themselves out, as they have figured themselves out, as they figured themselves out before, but now they're curious about what they might also be because they've interacted with other people within different realms of queerness. And it's like, oh, fuck. Am I bi? Am I gay? Am I pan? Am I non-binary? Am I trans? Am I, like... And then people, like, dilute it down and it's like, are you straight or not? And I'm like, fuck, why would you want to be cishet? I don't disrespect cishet people. I just don't understand why they need to push their lifestyles onto other people and onto children. I think it's wrong. I can still remember being in the room when Chris came out to his parents, learning that he was gay and feeling a small glimmer of hope that I found someone I could talk to about things. Straightened. Yeah. What are you? I'm straightened. But I'd never been able to work up the courage to tell him, and the fact that things went well for him just seemed to remind me again of how different things would be if I tried. That's how my parents would look at me if they knew. Dude. How does Adam say dude? Like, where's the inflection? Dude. I'm pretty sure dude is one of those words like fuck, that it can just mean 1,000 different things based on inflection and context. I don't know, it's one of the words I don't tend to use much. The tone of his voice somehow infuriating. Ah, so it was a dude. I wish Adam wouldn't try to empathize. I wish Chris would stop being goddamn silent. California Surfer Bro. Partially voice actors, or the Adams clip would just be different inflections of dude, 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 dude. There we go. Don't dude me, Chico. You don't know what it's like. I know the words are unfairly bitter, but all I can think about is my mother. It's easy for you, Mr. California. There you go, California Surfer Dude. Surfer Bro. You're straight, and it wouldn't matter if you weren't. Oh, Carlos. Oh, buddy. Oh, friend. Oh, dude. There ain't anyone straight here. Like, there's a reason this is called a gay sequel. Adam falls silent, looking between me and Chris. Chris, for his part, remains silent. I sigh, feeling more defeated than angry now. My cast is off. Let's go. Elliot needs to rest anyway, right? Adam nods, wordlessly standing. Chris stands and reaches out for my hand, offering to help me up. I push his hand away and get up off the floor, wiping my nose on my shirt sleeve. Chris and I follow Adam back to the campus in silence. Yes, I can see Chris has a huge personality now. Fantastic. It just, like, beams out. So I guess that's how I unexpectedly came out to Adam and Chris. Elliot was released from hospital shortly after that and promised he'd keep in touch, but I was less than enthusiastic. I wasn't about to give him something else to worry about, and I really, really didn't want anything to do with his parents after that. Adam and I talked a bit that night, but after a increasingly stressful afternoon, but he never brought it up again, which I guess was comfortable and considerate of him. I feel like he probably expected me to broach the topic again if necessary. I guess it's nice knowing that he's there for me, at least. If Chris wasn't always so quiet, maybe I'd try to pick his brain a little instead. But things haven't really changed between us, both with Adam and Chris, which was a huge relief. I mean, Chris is technically the player character from the last game, so by us now taking over another avatar, Chris is just kind of floundering, like, as a void. So I can understand why he doesn't talk. Chris being quiet is kind of an inside joke because the only spoken lines in ZAGS is the player choices. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, Chris's sole role is to be the embodiment of the player, but it's like, if the player... Oh, that's a good question. There's your question for you, writer and game dev types. If the player leaves the body of the character they're inhabiting, what happens to the character? Do they retain a semblance of the personality you leave behind? Or do they simply exist in space and time without any real personality of their own? Yay, pizza place! Adam, Chris, and I walked together to the Yard, a casual pizza restaurant near the campus. The Yard sounds not like a pizza place. The Yard sounds like a hookup place. Character collapses on the floor, a hollowed out husk. Everyone conveniently ignores them till the player returns. I mean, that sounds about right. That sounds like one of those multiplayer games where the like, when you leave the game, your character just stands there or sits on the floor. Chris has taken a bit of convincing, but we'd managed to get him to join Adam and me for dinner and a movie instead of studying for finals. Who needs to study, right? The restaurant, unfortunately, seems crowded. Super crowded. Like, look at that. Like, I'm just gonna enjoy the decor for a second. Say no to drugs, say yes to pizza. Guess everyone else wants a break from finals and campus food too. Oh, I remember the last game how how it talked a lot about the campus food being terrible. I'm not surprised. Looks like they're a little busy tonight. Christopher! Oh, hey, it's friends. I like these two. A bearded guy in a purple shirt and a girl with purple and pink in her hair spot Chris and wave at him. The guy looks vaguely familiar. They make the way over to us and the guy gives Chris a hug. The girl giggles and hugs him too. We're going to see a movie tonight. They seem friendly enough and Chris seems to be fairly at ease around them. More company is always nice. Oh, us too. You should join us. Oh, this is Dan and Liz. This is Carlos. We've met before. He grins and gives me a big hug too. I struggle to remember when we'd met, but come up blank. Dan laughs. It was brief, but I'm just good at remembering the names of cute guys that cross my path. Early flirting behavior. I appreciate this. I blush at this and Liz giggles. Chris shuffles his feet and Adam coughs. Shall we get a table? And play foosball? By some miracle, a table for 5 opens up almost immediately, and I'm soon seated between Adam and Chris, watching Dan and Liz across the table looking over the menu. I glance over at Adam and grin. Pineapple jalapeno pizza. Oh, that sounds good. Dan looks up at me. Dan looks up at me, curious. Huh, can't say I've ever considered the combination before. I'm liking the sound of that though. It's only the best thing ever. Liz giggles. Peppers give me fiery shits. I like Liz. Liz is very direct. Also, mood. Dan laughs. That's a lie. Girls don't poop. Well, at least 2 of them do when there's a cup around. Oh, for fuck's sake. Bob, why? Why did you have to reference early horrible memes? Dan laughs again. What? I mean, this is based in what, 2009? Hey folks, the internet has changed a lot in the last 13 years. Shit's changed. Less cups are involved. Dan laughs again while Adam and Chris look uncomfortable. Just, God. You two need to stop being prudes. We can order 2 different pizzas. I think Chris would appreciate something different anyway. The order and conversation go better from there, and the discussion moves to finals. Adam is, of course, disappointed by my lack of preparation. Should have thrown a real Ultimate Power reference. I'll never understand Adam or Chris's need to study so much. I mean, of course you don't, with a chin like that. Like, look at that chin. That is a chin that gets you into catalogs. The food soon arrives and everyone digs in. I find myself staring at Dan across the table. He pokes Liz with his finger, and I'm suddenly curious. Can I ask you a question, Dan? He looks over at me smiling. Liz pokes his arm and swats at her playfully without breaking eye contact. What's up? Are you and Liz dating? Ew. Dan laughs. Definitely not. Okay, I take a deep breath and will the following words out of my mouth. Okay. Are you gay? Adam chokes in his pizza and I hit him on the back. It's a welcome distraction at least. You know, a lot of people would consider that a rude question. I am so glad we have moved on to a point right now where being asked if you're queer isn't as much of a rude question. Test 1 of whether the censored mode works probably coming up. Okay, let's see if the censored mode works. I feel in my heart drop and start to mutter an apology. No, it's fine. I'm not a lot of people. I just do a lot of people in the butt. Where those people are men. I mean, valid response. Oh, I see what we're doing. Okay. Preferences. Profanity. Oh, I was hoping like I was expecting that to be the one where it's where it was covered up. Liz giggles and Adam drinks some water, shaking his head. Why do you ask? Chris and I have been talking about things, but I was kind of, I don't know. Oh, that's where it is. Good use of asterisks. Dan, I was warming up to you. I was warming up to you. Here's your perfect example, folks. A little bit of education from Kaiju. It is totally fine to use words about yourself. But do not immediately associate it with other people. It's a good way to turn them off. And if someone had said something like that to me, I would probably have thrown the pizza, if not a chair. Daniel, language, that's rude. This was a mistake. Sorry, Nate. And I just... You're totally gay, though. See, that's fine. Debatably. This was really, really a mistake. Hey, I am too. Most of the people at this table are. But, sorry, you're gay and want to meet more gay people and generally find yourself, right? Something like that. Dan, I'm channeling Liz today, but you're making him really uncomfortable. Sorry. I'm totally know that feeling. You should come to Q&A sometime. Chris mentioned that before. What is it? It stands for Queers and Allies, though in practice it's pretty much all queers and no allies. I hate to say that's a mood, but that's a real mood. If you're queer, you will understand the reasoning why that's a mood. Liz giggles. Everyone there is friendly. If anyone gives you shit, my girlfriend will shut them down. And I think it's a nice way to meet people. The thought makes me nervous, but it seems like it'd be rude to outright reject their suggestion. Maybe. We meet every Saturday morning around 9, although I think tomorrow is the last scheduled one for the year. You should come by, the 3rd floor of the student center. I nod, trying to see somewhat non-committal, as I watch Chris chug some water and attempt to cool his mouth from the peppers. How many jalapenos did they put on that pizza, if you need to be chugging water for it? The conversation moves on, and despite feeling myself relaxing, I keep focusing on Dan's suggestion, already feeling uncomfortable with the whole idea. Then again, looking at Dan and how at ease he seems with everything, I feel like it could do me some good, despite feeling nervous about the whole thing. Yeah, chugging water makes it worse. Maybe that's what Chris wants. Yeah, maybe. Can I say though, I want Dan's sweater or jumper or whatever it is. That looks A, incredibly comfortable. B, it would look very good on my boobs. And C, I love the color. It's very simple, but I like the look of it. Oh god, dorm rooms. I pause outside the door to Chris and Adam's room, collecting my thoughts before knocking. There's some muffled sounds inside the room, and Chris opens the door, blinking at me sleepily. Hey, Chris. He steps aside and I slide past him. Adam turns over in his bed, covering his face with his pillow. Jalapenos. Hey, Tangled, how you doing? Carlos, dude, it's too early for breakfast, or running. Huh, want to see me exercise the power of a queer god? What's this? Body hair off. Body hair on. Body hair off. Body hair on, body hair off, body hair on, body hair off. I wish I had this power in real life. I would make a fortune. I take a deep breath, refusing to let myself back out now. Actually, I was curious about Q&A and wanted to see if you'd go with me, Chris. Adam pushes the pillow aside and looks at me sleepily. That's a good idea, actually. Chris had to drag me along when he wanted to go the first time. I almost laugh at the thought, thinking how awkward Adam must have felt. You've been to Q&A, Chico? As moral support, but yeah. Thank you, friend. I hope you're doing well and you're safe. I look over at Chris, who nods slowly. Yeah, I could do that. Cool, I'll see you there later today, Chico. I wait outside the door for Chris to change. He appears a few moments later. I put on my bravest face and try to calm my nerves. Ready? I follow him as far as the student center hallway before my determination gives out, tugging on Chris's coat. It's a very nice coat. He stops and looks at me. Why am I so scared, Chris? He pauses for what seems like an eternity, quiet and contemplative as always. I felt the same way my first time, but everyone's friendly. I nod, somehow not feeling really reassured, but follow him into the room instead. The room is full of people. I recognize Dan and Liz from earlier, but feel frozen in place in the doorway. Christopher and Carlos. He comes over to us and gives us each a hug. A woman in a purple t-shirt who seems to be in charge smiles at Chris. Nice to see you again, Chris. Dan points to the couch where Liz is sitting. There's plenty of room over there. Come join us. Chris shrugs and walks towards a corner. I mutely follow him, trying to focus on his shoes at his back. Anything but where I am at the moment. This was a mistake. See, I'm more likely to just have social anxiety in a situation like this, not be worried about the queerness factor. Even before I came out, I'm like, I'm totally fine around queer folks. I'm good. But it's just like, okay, there's more than 4 people in this room. I need to go. Like, anyone else felt like that? I think that was a bit of a hint for me. I wonder idly if Dan was offended by us not taking his offer and glanced in his direction. But he seems to be distracted already, talking to another guy. Oh god, it's James? I think this is James. Chris ends up in the far corner next to a couch with a blonde man in a grey shirt sitting on it. Yeah, exactly. Like, I will feel more uncomfortable around generally cis-het folks, sometimes just around cis folks, but always around just big groups of people. Unless it's big groups of people I don't have to involve myself in at all. Like, if I'm just chilling at a quiet bar, and I don't drink, I just like to chill and read. Like, I'm fine. But as soon as there's tons of people, it's just like, no. Yeah. He nods at the two of us before returning to what looks like to reading some papers. Chris's voice breaks me out of my trance. This is James. James, this is Carlos. Oh, that little eyebrow raise. Look at that. Whoop, 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 whoop. You can dance. Okay, I'm done. James nods at me but doesn't speak. I find myself staring at him and force my eyes away. He's really attractive. I mean, in a, like, Hollywood detective queer baity kind of way. Like, this is something I'd expect on something like Supernatural, and then you find out that no, they were never gay at all, even though they were entirely coded to be. Like, just saying. Oh, subtle James's expressions are, he has a grin I think he used until the upcoming ZAGS RPG. Shocking, so sorry. Yeah. Subtle expressions are good in these games, especially if you can make them work for the character. Straight to super hell with you, yeah. That's Liz B in the purple. She's in charge. She's dating Liz G, who you already met with Dan. Welcome everyone to the last meeting of the semester. Super hell. Super hell. Super hell. Now I want to play super hot. I don't hear, or at least process, much of what she says, but it seems to be over quickly, and most of the people in the room file out. I'm startled back to reality when Dan plops down on the couch next to James, grinning at me. Liz, the non-leader one, sits on the arm of the couch next to him. You made it, Carlos. James shifts uncomfortably. I guess? Liz, the leader one, walks over to the four of us and smiles at me. Goodness, you still look absolutely petrified. Sorry, I was having out with a Gorgon earlier, and you know how it goes. She lost her sunglasses, and all of a sudden I'm just like... Yeah, big mood. Reminds me of you, Chris. Babe. James stands and grabs his bag. Time to go. Only 4 more shows. Bye, James. He hands me a piece of paper and I somehow manage to take it, blushing and my hands brushes his. Let me know if you want to talk. Jameson has a crush. Not hitting on you. Not that I'd mind that. God, we need that as a specific emoji in queer chats, because like a lot of there's a lot of like queer flirting, either intentionally or unintentionally in queer spaces, and it's just like I need this little emoji to indicate with like not hitting on you, but still saying this sort of stuff, just so you know. Just talking. Is that what they're calling it nowadays? No, they call it playing foosball these days. James shakes his head and I manage to stammer out some thanks. James walks out the door and Dan scoots over closer to me. So you could talk to James, or the two of us could have some more intimate conversation. What do you think I was going to say, Liz? Uh-huh. The two of you can talk in here all you want, but you take your conversation somewhere else. So distrustful. Should see someone about that, Liz. I should get going as well, actually. Study group to make. Yeah, not interested, but you're kind of looking hot. Yeah, that kind of dialogue is just that kind of indicator. A subtle cue to say, yes, I am finding you very attractive, but not in a sense where I want to proceed with anything intimate, you know. Liz G hugs Chris, Dan, and me. Yeah, exactly. Bye, Chris, Dan, Carlos. Seriously, Carlos, no sex in here. The bathrooms are right down the hall. You know what to do. My eyes follow them to the door and I start to get nervous again. Dan's a little overwhelming. I should probably go too. Sure, seriously, let me know if you want to talk. Or, talk. Wink. I feel myself blushing again and stammer out a goodbye before heading back into the hallway. So that's the story of my first Q&A visit. It could have gone better. I did get, not great, not terrible, like that Chernobyl gif. Not great, not terrible. I never did get the courage to message James, although it probably would have been a good idea to. I guess this entire gay thing still has me feeling nervous, even if I'm technically out now, at least to some people. Besides, it wasn't long after that when classes ended and I flew with Adam to his parents' house in California for a break. Must be nice. Which I guess is where we'll pick up now. This is pretty. These are just... I've always loved the backgrounds in your games, Bob. These are just lovely backgrounds. Adam and I get off the airport bus, walking to the snow-covered campus. The icy air bites at my lungs. Dude, it's freezing. You're the one who insisted we come back here. I would have been fine staying in California. Aw, that's sad. At my parents'? I could have found a job there or something. Surf instructor. Adam laughs and slaps my back. Yeah, they did a really good job with these backgrounds. This The lighting work on these street lamps is gorgeous. It's very subtle, but it's really nice. I love how they've done the shadow work. Anyway, we want to go see what's cooking at the house tonight. I was going to the gym, actually. Dude, we literally just got back. And I've been sitting on a plane all day. It's time to run. Carlos, I will never understand you. I'm far more of a Dan body. Although I guess more like Liz body at the same time. Being non-binary is weird. Well, you do you. I guess I should get my stuff back to my room then. Can you take my bag with you, just for now? Adam shakes his head but grabs my bag after I quickly pull my gym clothes out of it. I'll catch you afterwards at the house then. Adam heads back to his room as I head to the student center gym. The student center is deserted, which isn't actually too surprising given most people haven't returned yet. I recognize the desk attendant for the gym, Malik. God, from there I thought it was going to be Malik out of Validate. Is anyone else excited for Validate? If you haven't checked out Validate before, highly recommend it. I will be streaming the hell out of it when that one comes out. Hey, Carlos. Hey, have a good Christmas break? I guess. It was quiet here and I was able to take a bunch more shifts without classes. Dude, why would you spend the break working? I don't know, because some people aren't privileged enough to just have money? Like, Carlos. Dude. Privilege is just like oozing off you. Well, money, plus I can't exactly go home. Too far? Yeah, I love how Validate's coming out, and it deeply moves me how much it's annoying the cis-het white dude bros. That brings me joy, because if your problem with games is that you yourself are not represented in it, time to look at your privilege. Like, I will not find myself represented in this game, but I love it all the same. Too far? He laughs, seemingly in disbelief. Honey, I'm surprised we haven't had this conversation before. My parents kicked me out when I came out to them. Privilege. And just like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, you don't need to make a big thing out of it. Shrugs and smiles at me. Thank you, sweetie, but it wasn't really surprising for me. At least I have a scholarship and loans, so it's just housing and food I have to cover. Ah, yes, good old American student debt. Which should have been forgiven by now. Sorry, I'm going all political right now, but this game is just bringing up a lot of stuff for me. I'm surprised you didn't know, though. It's not exactly a secret. Let's just be open. Let's just tell everyone we're fucking gay. It's the only way forward in life. The words stick in my throat and I stammer for a bit. He seems to interpret that as uncomfortableness with him and looks at me funny. Before I say anything else, he shrugs and holds out a fluffy white towel. In any case, here's your towel. Please scan your ID card there, because I'm sure you've forgotten the procedure over the past few weeks. The tension is broken and I grin. I don't know, it has been a while. First choice is to call back to ZAGS, so you can't actually come out in the first times. Oh, right, yeah, I remember. I swipe my card and he nods at me as the computer beeps. You're good to go. He clears his throat as I put my card away. By the way, I'm working this desk Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings, and most of the day on weekends. This semester, I wouldn't mind seeing more of you, honey. Maybe I'll see you here when I come to work out then. At least until the weather is nice enough to swim. I look forward to it. Ah, the flirting. The gym's deserted, and while I quickly change to run on the treadmill for a while, I can't wait till it's warm enough to swim again. Soon I decide I'm done and wave goodbye to Malik on my way back to the house. I find Adam in the frat house's common Common roof. Yes, the common roof. Playing Guitar Hero with my other little friend. With my other little Tom. Tom's a little? Good for Tom. Also, Guitar Hero is a very good dating instance in this. Frat littles. Okay. I don't understand the American education system. I just understand that Guitar Hero is a very dating reference, so. Carlos, bro, how was your break? Dude, how are you talking while Adam drops some notes and Tom laughs? It was great. I'm surprised Adam hasn't told you all about it. He walked in on me having some alone time with this game. Dude. And couldn't help but join in. I'd say we should make it a threesome, but we need another fingering implement. I mean, at least on Guitar Hero you can't inadvertently snap a G-string. Dude. The song ends and Adam shakes his head. I'm just ribbing you, bro. You're still way better than that than I am. Ribbing? Adam laughs and pulls the guitar strap over his head, holding it out towards me. Take over for me? Terminology in this world is a very interesting thing. I get confused enough when I see the word goon in society now. Telling you to save you? I will neither confirm nor deny. I take the guitar from him and Tom grins. I'm not going to take it easy on you, bro. I wouldn't expect any less, dude. We play through a couple of songs and as Adam watches, I managed to do pretty well. You're pretty good, Carlos. I'm surprised you two don't play together a lot. Tom shrugs. Well, this was a relatively new game, and Eva and I had just started dating when the house got it. So I guess it was otherwise occupied. Oh god, this was early enough the Guitar Hero was new? I feel old. Looks like a party in here. Steve walks into the room looking like he's just arrived from the airport and sets his bag down on the floor. Hey, Steve. All of you have a good break? Can't complain. Adam nods, looking a little uncomfortable. He's probably expecting a lecture from Steve. So, while I have you all here, I was thinking I'd like to start a weekly house meeting this semester. We had some incidents last semester. All of the game, console, TV shows, and film references are supposed to be relatively accurate to real-world dates. I can believe that. No, this would have been... God, Guitar Hero 2? Guitar Hero 3? What console was 2009? I know there was a long break, because this would have been PlayStation... PlayStation 2? No. PlayStation 3? 2009. We went through the PS... We're at 5 now, aren't we? Still PS3 or 360. Okay. Yeah, 3. There's such a long gap between the PlayStations. It's such a, like, relative term of saying, like, oh, this was a PS3 game. It's like, what year? I love that meme that went around for a while, which was, like, your game looks like a PS2 game. And it's like, did you see how good PS2 games looked at the time? They looked fantastic. PS4 was 2013. Okay, there's your dating reference. Yeah, because Elliot having his head bitten by Robert was an incident. And it's more important than ever that we stick together, especially with Spring Rush coming up. So Tuesday evenings, it should conflict at the least with evening classes for everyone. Yeah, PS2 graphics were fantastic. Like, I wasn't a big console player, but PS2 graphics were far and ahead of a lot of things at the time. Works for me. Steve nods, staring right at Adam. Great, I hope I'll see you all there. Tell the other brothers for me too, and see as you see them. Steve leaves and Adam seems to relax again. Adam, man, unclench before you start shooting diamonds or something. Then the Dreamcast came out and some of the sports games were like, this is like watching a game on TV. Yeah. Adam shrugs. He looks at me. I don't know, I just thought the break would help me clear my head or whatever, but I still feel like I don't really belong here. Like, it seemed to make sense last year, and I've made so many friends here, but I also just... Be direct. You're not required to continue being in the frat, dude. I guess. If it's not what makes you happy, maybe it's time to change these things to be more in line with who you really are. Fuck yes. Okay, I love this. We're going direct Carlos route. Adam looks at me funny. We're talking about me, right? Tom. Look over the doorway where a tall girl in a blue shirt is standing. Okay, I want that shirt too. That shirt would look great on me. The pants, I would never fit those pants. But that shirt? I love this use of that blue, actually. Look at this. We've got this fantastic, like, line of the same blue going along. You're back. Yeah, my flight had some issues, but I finally made it. She smiles at me and Adam. Hi, Carlos and Alex, was it? Probably helps with playing games of fuzzy CRTs, but the games also learned a lot. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. We moved over from CRTs to flat screens around the PS2 age, so things changed a lot. Right, of course. Adam, so I'm sorry. Tom puts down the guitar and walks over to her, gives her a quick kiss. Dinner? It's probably about that time. I guess I'll catch the two of you tomorrow then. I wave as they head out. Adam sits down on a couch. I feel this sense of dread now when I see Steve, which isn't fair to him at all. I sit down next to him. Like, I know Elliot was his best friend, and so everything that happened to him really hit hard. And I know he really has the frat's best interests in mind. But I guess I didn't expect it to become such a formal thing. And the more I'm reminded that I'm not dedicating enough time here, the more I feel like I don't want to. The rhythm games and the switch away from CRT's breaks on touch. Really? The display lag makes rhythm games difficult for them age. Difficult. Huh. Maybe I'm just too focused on my studies for an organizational commitment like a frat. I don't understand the concept of frats and sororities. Like, as someone from Australia who does not understand, like, does not get into, like, herd behavior or mob behavior, the entire idea behind the frat slash fraternity sorority system is just makes no sense. Doesn't make sense if you're over there and you're in America. Like, it just seems like the worst kind of peer pressure, and it's enforcing it. But from what I understand of that educational system, it's pretty bad at enforcing peer pressure anyway, so... Maybe, that's not a bad thing. I'm just trying to make up for your lack of studying, dude. That hurts, Chico. Right to the heart. I bet. This is supposed to be a support group for school? Yeah. Want to see what the chef has cooked up for dinner? I hope it's lumpy mashed potatoes. Oh, the diner looks very pretty. Oh no, this is the fraternity dining room. It looks like cold cuts. I guess we make sandwiches. I'm fine with that. Chef must not be back yet. We eat quickly and Adam excuses himself ostensibly to sleep, although I'm pretty sure he's going to read another textbook instead. I'll come by tomorrow morning for my bag? Sure, as long as it's not too early. I thought you were going to bed early. Something like that. See you tomorrow, dude. Can we start flirting with people already? We're like an hour in and I haven't flirted with anyone yet. emoji saying I would like to flirt, but not in a way that means anything. I find it hard to fall asleep as my mind keeps returning to Malik and my failed attempt at coming out to him. Why did I freeze up like that? Eventually, I managed to drift off to sleep. Sunday, 2007. Fuck. I had... God, 2007, I had just gotten out of high school? I had just finished high school, I think? God. I paused briefly outside the door of Chris and Adam's room before knocking. 10 a.m. isn't too early, right? There's no response, so I knock again after a bit and hear some shuffling from behind the door. A few moments later, Adam opens the door, looking annoyed. Oh, I see. The body hair changer doesn't change whether they have pubes. Interesting. That's still body hair. I mean, does a snail trail count as body hair? I'm pretty sure I signed you up for a Brazilian, Adam. Okay, we'll put body hair on just for you. There we go. See, this throws me. With the body hair like switched off, you still get snail trail, but you get a lot more. The body hair affects Malik. I guess Adam is just really attached to those pubes. A few moments later, Adam opens the door, looking annoyed. Dude. Good morning, Chico. It's barely morning. No, Chris? Adam yawns and scratches his chest. I think he was getting back sometime this morning. He grabs my bags from the corner. And here's your bag. I'll see you after lunch later. Maybe. Sounds good, Chico. Go wear in that bed some more. Adam shakes his head and closes the door. Behind me, I hear someone clear their throat. Hey, Carlos, was it? Aw, these two. These two are adorable. Yep, hey yourself. Nikhil and Jake. Don't go after Jake. Jake is a mistake. Jake is way too wholesome. And like, really kind of conservative. From the ending I got lost. Sorry, we didn't mean to overhear, but it sounds like Chris isn't back yet. Apparently he's getting back sometime this morning. Ah, we just wanted to see if he wanted to play some board games, and he wasn't online, so we figured we'd stop by. Jake's part of the threesome route in this game? But he was so innocent in the first one. Like, he was utterly innocent in the first one and didn't want to do anything. Did we manage to break Jake? Did we finally manage to get his corruption score up high enough? I need more games like this with corruption scores. He pauses for a second. You're also welcome to join us, of course. No more board games in this. I swear I spent a good 2 hours of the 8 that I played this game last time, that I played the first game, playing the board games. Let's go back to the house, I guess, and see what's around. So it's like Malik route. I'm guessing these two route. Let's see what the rest is. I should be heading back to the frat house. Right, of course. We're going to try and play board games every Wednesday evening this semester. You're always welcome to join us. Thanks, I'll keep that in mind. We head back to the frat house. I drop my bag in my room and head to the common room. It's busier than last night, as more brothers seem to be returning. A bunch of them are watching TiVoed episodes of The OC. Holy shit, you were right. It is very, like, time reference. God, The OC. I am not hanging around with Tom. I don't think. I find an empty spot on one of the couches. Fortunately, the episode just seems to have just started. One of the characters reminds me of Elliot. It makes me miss him. They end up watching a few episodes in a row. I stick around until the chef announces lunch is ready. Alright, have a good one. Might see you tonight on the other stream. Adam is sitting in the dining room talking to Tom and Eva. Hey dude. Looks like lunch is meatloaf and mashed potatoes. Seems a bit heavy for lunch, but it also seems somehow appropriate as first meal back. First meal back was pancakes and bacon. You were just getting reacquainted with your bed. Yeah, well, let's eat. We all grab food and sit at the table together. So, still studying too much, Adam? I've been studying the right amount, thank you. You've been spending too much time around Carlos. Tom laughs and punches my arm. One would normally argue that you don't spend enough time with him, but you two are basically inseparable. I'm surprised he hasn't rubbed off on you more, bro. What major are you, Adam? Biology, but I'm going to try and get into med school after this, so I'm preparing for that on the side. It's nice that you know what you're going to do already. You two are both math majors, right? That's right. It's not a very practical major as far as employment goes. I don't know, you could always be a math teacher. I guess like maths is one of those ones where you kind of have to specialize. Yeah, well, neither is biology. I don't know, biology's pretty useful major, I'd assume. Guess that's why they say undergrad doesn't really matter. It's not like we've really done anything interesting yet anyway. We're just getting through Gen Eds. Gen Eds? Never heard of it. Yeah, teaching is such a respected job. It should be. It's like, why would you become an English major when the only path for an English major is, like, becoming an English teacher? Like that sort of line. I'm taking real analysis this semester, at least. Been looking forward to that one. Yeah, 100% it should be. You should respect teachers, as, you know, as long as those teachers are not assholes. You smart people and being excited about classes. Tom laughs in agreement, and the conversation moves from there. Soon we finish eating. Well, I have an appointment with a textbook. Dude, classes haven't even started yet. It's not for a class. I think Eva and I are gonna go watch some more of our show. See you two around. Catch you later, Carlos. This is a nice little room. I like this. I end up back in room after lunch and finally unpack my bag from the trip. I sit at my desk afterwards, pulling out my laptop. Oh, a new email from Elliot. Doesn't contain very much of note, although it's always good to hear from him. It reminds me that I've been meaning to get an instant messaging account to talk to him more directly. Oh, I love the I am feature in the first one. The I am feature in the first game was really fun. I pull the crumpled piece of paper out of my desk drawer that has James's screen name on it and stare at it. Also, I should talk to James. Chris said he gave him good advice when he first coming out. And you should be unlocked too if you want to go stare at more of the background. I would do that when I finish up. I install the program, fingers shaking for some reason, and stare at the sign-up screen. Right, a screen name. I need a suggestion for a screen name for Carlos. So someone throw me something utterly random, but possibly appropriate. Actually, let's do this. This is. Oh, let's do this. Cupcake eggplant emoji. There we go. Cupcake eggplant. I can't get that many characters in it. I can complete the sign up and add both Elliot and James to my contacts. I should ask Chris for his screen name at some point too. They both seem to be online at the moment. I stare at the names, feeling more and more nervous. Why am I so afraid of this? It's Elliot. I'm not trying to come out to him. I just want to talk to him. God, the dog is just going off its rocker today. Let's talk to James. My hand shakes as I click James's screen name and type on a window that appears. Hey, it's Carlos. Hi. Yes. Sorry for taking so long to message you, but I just signed up today. Okay. Thinking back to my conversation with Malik last night and my inability to come out to him, I guess I'm still really scared about things. God, this is worse than MSN Messenger. Like, this feels like Westwood chat. This, like, feels this feels even earlier than 2007. Like, this feels pre-ICQ. Uh-oh. About things. Okay. God, James is terrible. Want to talk? Is this what we're doing? In Q&A now. Not alone. Can meet somewhere else. I look around, unsure whether it's a good idea to over-invite him. You miss Trillian? How about Q&A room? Q&A room is fine, since you're already there. I stand and take a deep breath. Okay, you've been there before. Nothing to be afraid of. I grab my coat and head out. My heart is pounding as I walk into the room. James is there, sitting on a couch with his laptop as Liz B shuffles files in a cabinet. He's still really attractive. Where'd all his hair go? I'm sorry, but he's like 60% less interesting without the longer hair. Everyone has their choice. I'm good. Hey, Carlos. James nods at me. It's nice to see you again. I was just leaving, but you're welcome to stay as long as you like, of course. If you're the last one out, please turn off the lights for me. Yes, thank you. I'm just going to turn this down a bit. She smiles at me again before grabbing her coat and heading out. I take the seat next to James on the couch. Somehow sitting next to him is reassuring. Hi. He nods, seemingly waiting for me to speak. This isn't much of a talk if I don't say anything. So I guess I recently came out, but it was only to my best friend, Adam and Chris, and I guess QA people. One of my good friends last semester got beaten up by a homophobic asshole in my frat. Elliot? James's voice makes me jump for a reason. Yeah, did you know him? Know him? Know of him. Heard from Chris. Oh. Does that mean he's... James just shrugs. Ask him. Right, of course. For an actor, you're very monosyllabic. Is that the word? Monosyllabic? They're just, like, not talking. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, right, huh. But Chris and everything made me feel like I'm not doing enough. The part of the giant tree today will be played by James. If Elliot and I had a chance or something, I feel like I've been blown it by being in the closet. There's not talk much when you're not acting. Yeah. And Chris and you and my friend Malik, you're all so open. Just that look on Carlos's face. I mean, that gif and James's eyebrow raise gif, like right next to each other. Just infinite repeating. Stares at me for a bit, friendly, and nods again. You and Chris reminded me of me last year. You were scared too? Yeah. That seems hard to believe now. He stares off into space. It took me a long time to accept myself. I could have passed as straight. After all, I do like women. But that somehow felt like I would be denying part of myself that mattered, and it took me a long time to come to terms with that. He smiles at me and it feels reassuring somehow. There is no right way to come out. There is no right way to be gay. Some people are like Dan. They don't care what anyone else thinks. I guess to a certain extent you have to be that way sometimes because the world isn't accepting as it should be. But he lives his life that way and expects everyone else to too. So come out in your own way at your own pace. Don't let anyone dictate how or where or when you do it. That's up to you. And don't blame yourself for the past. Basically, copy paste the speech gives Chris and Zags because I think it's a good speech. Yeah, it's a good speech. Don't feel like you're letting people down by not being as out as you think you should be. If people have a problem with that, that's on them. It is a good speech. And I'm sorry about Elliot. My parents wouldn't approve. Ah, that makes it harder. You said you know Malik. I would not have made the decisions he did in his position. I'm glad he did the right thing for him and he made it work, but it could have ended badly. Just like others shouldn't dictate when you come out, there is no shame in remaining closeted, including to family. Family are the people who accept you. Just pointing it out there right now. Family are the people who accept you for who you are. Family are not just the people who birthed you or something like that. That doesn't mean shit if they don't care enough about you. Sometimes physical and financial well-being are more important. He shrugs. Not a good situation though, so you're in it. I nod and stare at my hands. Thanks. But sometimes family surprises you. Not that you should take the risk if you're not sure. An image of Elliot's parents looking at me and Adam disapprovingly flashes into my head and I shudder involuntarily. Ags has a lot about family, I can believe that. I don't think that it happened in my case, but it's nice to think about. In time they will understand. I hope so. And you have friends here who support you. Yeah. We sit there for a bit in silence. I'm not sure what else to say, but James doesn't seem like he has anything else for the moment. Thank you. You're welcome. Always happy to talk. Hope this helped. Should get back to the lines, but Q&A Saturday morning if you want. I had a room feeling a lot better once I'm standing in the hallway again. But despite my nerves, I somehow feel a sense of calm. Actually, that really did help me feel better about myself. By the time I get back to the house, it's evening and I have a quick dinner before retreating back to my room. I guess it's Sunday evening. I should figure out what I'm going to be doing this week. Hey, actually I should tell you now how my weekly planner works. Before I do though, I just want to let you know that the date indicated in the top right is clickable to change the name of the save file in case it helps you remember what you were doing later. This is the main planner screen, the area where you select an activity for each time slot. The activities available may vary by day and time slot. Notes will update as the game proceeds and offer a quick reminder of things that may affect your planning decision. For now, let's look at the stats. Click the View Stats button below. Oh god, this is the screen showing all of my stats. The left displays my friendships with the guys I can date. Once I start dating someone, it'll show relationship stats as well. The planner notes are duplicated here for reference. On the right are my stats. The top two are the most important to track: happiness and libido. Of course, those are the two most important stats. Happiness, libido, fitness, studiousness, gamingness, confidence. Okay, everyone, I need you to pick your character stats. Please pick your primary and your dump stat. Like, you got 20 points to spend. How are you doing it? I want to make an RPG out of this. Like, screw strength, dexterity, and all that sort of stuff. People pick their stats out of these. God. Happiness reflects well how happy I am at the moment. Certain activities will become unavailable in the planner if it drops too low. I should also watch my libido, as I may be forced to take drastic action if it becomes too pressing. Uh... Sorry, the way this is worded makes me smile. The bottom 5 stats are relevant to my dating and social life. Fitness reflects how in shape I am, and Malik appreciates fit men. Studious is how I'm doing in school. Not only do I need not to fail, but Chris appreciates when I study. Gamingness reflects my interest in board games, which naturally gets Jake more interested in me. Confidence reflects my acceptance of my sexuality, which is important to Nate. Fitness, studiousness, gamingness, and confidence also impact available activities and choices, in addition to getting me on the guy's good side. God, I can't read that out, but that's very good. Hashtag I see myself. Finally, frattiness is how dedicated I am to the frat house and my brothers. Click friendships to view additional stats. This is the screen showing all of my friendships. You can view either stat screens outside of planning time as well. Now navigate to planning. God, there's so much going on. Bob, why did you do this? You could have just made a very basic dating sim. You have just taken what you did in ZAGS and made it so much bigger. To use a planner, click on a day and a time slot. Click Monday morning. It's very good. I love it. Screen lists different actions you can pick for the selected slot. The available options may be based varied on the day and time. Reference the notes for tips. You can hover over an action for more info and select whatever. The fact this is all done within Ren'Py just... Involves and unlocks as you play. Why set up a base you can make meet involved? Exactly. Fuck it. We're going to class. We need to not fail. We can't just rely on Surfer Dude charm for all of this. In addition, the estimated effect of my happiness display. Oh, that's cute. It actually says what effect it's gonna have. Remember, my happiness may limit what activities can be done during planning. You may save a low difficult plan. Once every slot is filled out, goes execute plan. It will appear in the bottom right. You just adjust the speed of the planning, execution, and preferences. And that's it. I guess I should actually figure this out now. Oh, God. I think this is where we call it here for ZAGS. I think this is a perfect place to call it. Like, this is just... We've had a great intro for it. We've had a great setup to learn about Carlos, to learn about the environment. We've been explained the features going forward. This is really cool. I totally dig this. But I think this is a very good place to stop. There's also a dog just going absolutely berserk next door. I don't know if you can hear it. I hope you can't. But yeah, I think this is a really good place to stop. I will get back to playing this again later. I very much enjoy this. I also really want to replay ZAGS now as well. So yeah, that's our first game for today. Please, folks, go and check out bobcgames.itch.io. Get hold of ZAGS, Yearning a Gay Story. Get hold of this one. The Queer Games bundle is coming up at the start of June. That's going to have ZAGS in it, plus a bunch of extra content. Highly recommend folks get it. Just go support. Bob is an incredible positive queer force in this visual novel world. And I highly, highly, highly recommend his work. So yeah. So next. Whoop. Are you want to quit? Yes. Once I start the next game. Launch. That one. Because this thing takes a moment to launch up. I'm just going to make sure everything else is shut down so nothing weird shows up. No, that should be fine. Okay. So we're going to go, yes, I want to quit. All right. So this should be the second game. And we're going to get onto our next game for the night, which I am very excited to play. These are two games that I've had on my list for quite a while now. So I'm very excited to finally get around to playing them. That one goes across. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. All right, our next game for the day, our second game for the day, is going to be The Case of the Serialized Killer by Alex Royce, Camden Dawn, and Tsushi. I have personally played their other games. So one of their games, Full Service Shop, is one of my favorite adult games out there. It is very gender affirming, very body euphoria affirming, so highly recommend it. So I'm really keen to share a game with you on here that I can share with you on here. So we're going to play a mystery game, and we're going to have some fun today, whatever it is at this point. All right, let me quickly check. I'm not sure if it's going to give us a content warning straight up, so let me just quickly check. I know there were content warnings. Let me just quickly go find them. I think they were in a attached text document, which is not my preferred way of doing it, but I'll take what I can get. Let me just sort these. There we go. Okay. I love the official file name for this is just Murder Mystery. That makes me happy. Content warnings. Okay. For this game, content warnings. This game includes a murder and deals with some themes of violence, but gore and shock value are not the focus of this game. I'm going to turn this down a little because that's quite loud. Potential triggers include alcoholism, visual depiction of a burned body, not rendered in detail, but still described in text, vomiting, not shown visually, described in text, mild dysphoria, panic attack, brief discussions of intrusive thoughts, a knife injury, and not very detailed, and depiction of a character missing an eye but no gore. So yeah, there's potential triggers in there, but it seems that most of this are descriptions as opposed to visual. So I figure let's get moving. Let's give this one a go. I am very excited. I'm gonna have some more tea because we are an hour and a half in and we've got another hour and a half to go. I am excited for mystery game. The doors were all locked and the windows barred. The afternoon sun barely managed to leak into the dusty mansion. But when the visitor knocked, the sharp sound resounded through the halls. Somewhere, inaudible over the knocking, a pitiful voice let out a groan and called out into the hallway. Clumsy hands pulled a pillow over his face. Oh, that's so loud. I swear I can see it. That is called synesthesia. If it doesn't stop, this headache will crack my skull in two. While one man complained, another was already rushing to answer the door. You have a hangover, not a headache. Have mercy, Hawley, I can't handle it today. You couldn't handle this yesterday, and I don't think you've a lobster's chance in boiling water of handling it tomorrow. A lobster's chance in boiling water. It's very descriptive. I love this little blinky eye too. That's fantastic. And this UI is so cool. I love this very watercolor aesthetic. It very much works for me. Unsympathetic but undeterred, Hawley Faraday makes his way towards the front door. He ignored the other speaker and their continued whining. He sighed, The moaning wouldn't stop until the knocking did, and Faraday would have to be the one to take care of it. Opening the door was quite a task. He muttered through a set of devious tongue-twisting charms, cracked a stick of chalk over the handle, and detached a frankly ludicrous amount of deadbolts. Any interest in the novelty of ritual magic had worn off months ago. The seal broke and the crisp air entered, full of staticky flavour of fall. Hawley blinked as his eyes adjusted. He hadn't missed all that sunlight, nor the serious, stiffly disapproving faces of people on the outside. A messenger was standing on the step, letter in hand. Whomever had sent it had paid to be hand-delivered. Urgent letter for Mr. Ludd? Kale? Hawley raised an eyebrow. They'd paid to have it hand-delivered, but not, it seemed, enough to know the recipient. Ludiciel. Ludiciel pronounced Ludiciel. Cool. Comprehension seemed to dawn on the messenger's face, quickly followed by the inevitable grimace of distaste. I see. Him. Faraday took a letter from his hand, gave it the once-over. It's not a bomb, is it? That got the jerk's attention. No, sir, it's a personal invitation. Really? Well, toss my oars, thanks. Hawley rummaged in his pocket for a tip, and once that transaction was accomplished, set about resealing the door. He didn't want to be responsible for anything escaping. These sprites are good. I love these. Soon the business was accomplished. All that was left to find out what was in the letter. Yeah, it's a sexy UI. I have developed a taste for good UI in visual novels. And that's the thing. It's a very approachable medium. Like, Ren'Py is an incredibly approachable medium for making story games. And even though it has quite a reasonable UI built into it, the amount of changes you can make to it really stand out. Like, any change to Ren'Py stands out. Because a lot of people just do use the basic, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you do something different, it will be seen. It will be immediately recognizable. Quieter, please. You should get up. Open your mail yourself. Ugh. What if there's money in it? Gotta want that. Keep it. Hawley pantomimed opening the letter. Ah, it's a deed to this whole place. Bit of running away immediately after ZAGS, but hubby's wanting back. No, that's fine. You go give your hubby big snuggles. You have a lovely night, and I will catch you online. All I have to do is sign and it's mine. Keep it. The outburst clearly backfired. Another groan of anguish rolled down the hall. Hawley rolled his eyes and tore open the elaborately decorated envelope. He scanned the lines of the letter. It's an invitation to a party. They want you to do a seance. If he'd been expecting this to perk up his companion's spirits, then the response would have been quite a disappointment. I won't do it. I've done 2 before and it's all so terribly demeaning. The 2 stocking-clad feet met the ground. The UI in your upcoming game is ridiculously excited. Hey, Cammy, how you doing? How you doing, friend? Then one of those feet failed to keep balance, and the ground became acquainted with a pair of elbows and a forehead. I love this writing, it's so good. Is this your work, Cammy? Seances are just a tasteless parlor trick. He clawed his way up the door frame and Harold Ludiciel stood as tall as he momentarily could. How dare they? They're speaking to a true alchemical genius. Long underwear. You gotta love it. A man who can control the fabric of the human soul. Hawley fluttered the letter at him. Why don't you try controlling the fabric of your pants, buddy? Harold took on a moment to register his state of undress, and that moment was all it took to puncture what little energy he had. Be that as it may, neither I nor anyone could show up and summon the souls of the dead, their regrets or outstanding grievances. Been liking the time? Aww. Yeah, well, welcome. Thank you for being here. Perhaps I should summon those, but any vengeful presence strong enough to contact might kill the whole lot of them rather than shake the table. Hawley sighed again. Maybe it would have been better to leave Harold passed out on the chaise longue. After all, Harold couldn't be pedantic while passed out on the chaise longue. I'll tell this Bell person to say no, then. Harold waved a primitive gesture. Good, good. Don't call me unless it's a big one escape. Took a while for anything to filter through the muck in his brain, and as a neuron finally made contact, Harold tripped again. Bell? As in Bernadette Bell, the author? Hawley coughed, caught both Harold and the suddenly wild look in his eye. The famous author? Yeah. Managing both Harold and the letter was certainly a handful. But Hawley managed to reread the letter, which was to say... reread the latter, which was to say, the letter. God. Very clever wording. It says, Professor Ludacille, I request your presence at a party in my home this coming Saturday. I have heard tell of your incredible research into supernal sciences, and I need a man with your expertise for the job. I can trust no one with this important task. My regards, Bernadette Bell. Harold got to his feet, brushing himself off. Well, it would be the pinnacle of rudeness to decline. So will you bring your business cards to this? Or will you just pass out slips labelled kiss ass so they know your real job? Harold shook his head, hangover suddenly absent. How do you not know Belle? She's been serialized for 2 years now, writes those murder mysteries with the shockingly grisly means of death. Hawley shrugged. An associate of hers was just murdered a few days ago. The irony kept it all over the papers. They have no leads at all, claiming an imp might have been the murder weapon. Can't murder someone with an imp. It's a sentient creature. But I like the concept. It's creepy to obsess about other people's business. You never know when you might need need information. We wouldn't want to make a faux pas if we met her. Psst. Fine, I guess that settles it. Even if you just said seances were fake. I mean, it's more complicated than that. And even if there's very little evidence they're real, you never know what we might find out in the future. I love they've just done this massive backflip of attitude. That's a longer way to say fake. So, they want a good ghost story for their party. What's wrong with that? Well, it's not deceptive per se. It's fun for the guests if we all pretend it's real. That's the idea. Hawley chuckled. Well then, I'm coming with you. Seeing you lie your ass off sounds like a show I don't want to miss. Plus they said there'll be dinner. I haven't gotten to eat something I didn't cook for myself in ages. Harold chewed the inside of his cheek for a moment before responding. Just promise me you won't embarrass me? Me? With you running around playing pretend about fake ghosts for a scrap of establishment knowledge? You really think I'm gonna be the embarrassing one? I don't know why, but I want to give Harold like a Becky kind of voice. Just because that's it, like the way he's speaking sounds... Well, I don't know. You don't exactly know how to dress, Faraday. Holly didn't seem fit to dignify that with a response. He turned around and left Harold standing in the hall in his undergarments. A week later, Faraday and Harold stood dwarfed by the massive mansion of Bernadette Bell. Oh, thank goodness I bought this big jar of salt. This place is gonna need a lot to seal, Becky. Oh, God. I'm done. It seems very doable, but I'm not gonna do it. If you're gonna be faking a ghost thing, why bother sealing anything? I'm a professional, Ollie. I am at least capable of sealing a building until sunrise. Sure you can stay up that late? Stepping onto the front porch, their feet passed over a metal grate. The strange device on the floor set a ringing tone into the house. Do you think that's an imp doorbell? That seems excessive, not to mention expensive. Or maybe the place is rigged up with electricity. She must be even richer than I thought. How do I look? Fine. Very hunched. I really wish you dressed in something nicer. This is the nicest stuff I have. Plus, it's not like clothes change who you are. Either they'll like you or they won't. Just say I'm your assistant. They won't care then. So you read a few of her books this week, right? Well, I read a bit. Define a bit. I fell asleep on the 3rd page. I usually feel like seafaring stories, but it was so dreary. Don't look at me like that. There's gonna be a play soon. I'll simply watch that when it comes out. But the short stories are good. I'm certain they are. You can tell me about how the book was better once we've seen the show. Oh, the book was so much better. You really should have read that first. Look, the first one sucks. She's clearly never been on a boat before. But they get a lot better. I wanted to come prepared, so I read a few. There was a sound of movement behind the door. The host herself, Bernadette Bell, opens the door. I love this design. This character design is gorgeous. Cammy, whoever it was on character art, A+. A+ work. A stern figure stood behind her. Oh, it's Dr. Luther Keel. I'm sorry to keep you waiting. I haven't been feeling up to snuff lately. It's no trouble, Miss Bell, and please call me Harold. Harold it is then. I'm glad you could make it. I might have been rather short notice, but for you, anything. I must confess to being something of a fan. Really? And this is my assistant, Hawley Faraday. Royce did the art. Royce does good work. Don't worry, I understand how valuable good help is. This is my editor, Debbie Vance. Vance extended her wrist towards Harold. Her dress and demeanor were both firmly rooted in the prior century. The 16th century? I was the one who told her about your work. Harold, no stranger to dusty old customs, kissed the back of Vance's hand. A pleasure to meet you both. We call this formal protocol. Come in then, don't stand out there. I'm going to get started as soon as everyone else has arrived. Miss Bell, I need some time, to prepare. I love that you've kept this whole thing very mysterious. It suits a mystery writer like yourself. But I do need to know. Whom I will be summoning. My friend, Gareth Canterbury. Such a recent death might be difficult to summon. If you can't do it, then please tell me now. I mean, for an amateur, it would be impossible. But for an experienced summoner like me, it shouldn't be a problem. Backgrounds of photographs you turned into channel monochrome, then painted by Royce. Oh, that is so cool. Like, it's very common to remake publicly available stuff. Like, the stuff in the backgrounds in Kaiju Noir are all publicly available pictures, monochromed, then put through a geometrizer to essentially wipe out solid edges. Faraday leaned in to whisper, Harry, how the hell are you gonna fake? Harold hissed back softly. Have you ever heard of hot reading? Harold puffed his chest out confidently, like a proper cunning showman. We need to get a list of the deceased's personal traits and attachments so we can contact her properly. Faraday, take some notes for me. Harry thrust a leather-bound journal into his hand. Wait, this notebook is... Faraday muttered a bit coarsely. Then he folded to a new page and started to write. Sometimes Faraday will take notes on the people around him. These notes can be accessed anytime by clicking the journal icon on the right of the text box. All these notes will be kept here. Click the page corners to navigate. Click the close button to return. Great, now I want to play Discworld Noir again. People. Gareth Canterbury, she, her, friend of Belle, recently murdered. Popular illustrator, worked for the chain, disliked by her bosses, tells it like it is. Holly Faraday, he, him, undiscovered demonologist. Incredible work. Don't say his name around the docks. Cute smile. Gay? He likes mulled cider. Ask him out for a drink. Apologize? Ask him to come for... Shut up, shut up. That's adorable. I love the gay question mark crossed out exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark. Belle turned to Vance for a moment, and while she was distracted, Faraday hissed a whisper to Harold. Harry, why are there notes on me? Oh well, I started assembling all my notes on people in one notebook. Easy to keep on hand. Holly rolled his eyes and sarcasm dripped from his tone. Ah, of course, that makes perfect sense. No, it doesn't. Most people don't think to keep an insane little dossier of everyone they pass by. Well, my memory isn't what it used to be. What if I slip up and say something that accidentally touches upon a sore nerve and they never forgive me? Faraday took to furious scribbling. Harold looked over Foley's shoulder and watched him write. Oh, very mature. While you're at it, add snores in his sleep to your page. Belle's laughter cut through their squabble. Don't you agree, Harold? Absolutely, quite amusing. Harold had no idea what she'd been discussing with Vance. But people always liked to hear that they were funny. Miss Belle, I hate to divert you towards a sensitive subject, but could you tell me a little about your friend's career? It's important that I might tie her to this mortal plane. Belle didn't miss a beat, pride in her eyes as she responded. She was a fabulous illustrator. She worked on the cover art for The Chain. Faraday leaned towards Harold to whisper, The Chain is the journal her stories are serialized in. So would you say she liked her job? Loved it. She and I would head out to find scenes for her to paint while I did rough drafting. She and I met when she had to illustrate something for one of my stories for the cover. She took a lot of pride in her work. Some people even collected the journals just for their covers. Quite a feat to say. Sometimes the journals sold just because of her artwork. She wasn't well liked by the heads of the journal. She just told it like it is. Management always hates that. I mean, that's true. I just wanted to be clear. Maybe the job didn't love her as much as she loved it. I suppose. His music is very on theme too. I love it. In the parlor, there were two guests already chatting away. Oh my god, it's Exit. Yeah, I have feelings. For those who haven't played any of Alexis Royce's other games, Exit, this character, makes regular appearances. Best girl. I mean, Cammy, some might say you're the best girl. But gosh, Exit gives me feelings. Yeah. I'm okay. While the other loon's silent. Oh, they're so tall. Faraday and Harold attempted not to stare. They failed utterly. Belle followed their gaze and chimed in. May I present Goose Downey? They're here to help me some details about future writing ideas. They're a hitman. Inspiration is vital for a good story, and who would know more about murder than that? So tacky. Faraday took a note of that. The doorbell rang and Belle grabbed Vance's hand. Oh, another guest! And with that, Belle hurried Vance away, sounding slightly winded. Finally, I was starting to think it would just be me and this guy all night. The taller person said nothing, but the lack of response did not seem to slow the woman down. So, who do we have here tonight? Two of you, right? Or is it just one person with a really big imp? Oh, no, it's two of us. So you can speak. Well, that's helpful. Yes, I'm Dr. Harold Lucadil. Sorry. And I'll be performing the seance this evening. Man, she wasn't kidding when she said she was getting an expert. Harold beamed. Shame it had to be you, though. I love that so much. And just who do you think you are? Harold did his best to shush Faraday. But the woman heard him anyway and could scarcely hold back a peal of arrogant laughter. Me? I'm Dia Deleuze. Harry gave an audible groan of disappointment, which only seemed to make her grin even more broadly. Yep, that Deleuze. If you've seen a ship without marking, then I designed it. Even if you haven't seen the marking, we made half the ships in the harbour. So, you know, you're welcome. For like all the free trade you enjoy each day. Faraday gritted his teeth, decided not to let the shipwreck get away with the slight. Big deal, so you made 100 or 200 ships. Good for you. I've been on better. Oh, big words, Mr. It's Faraday. Holy Faraday. Deleuze shrugged. Never heard of you. Faraday sucked in a breath to tell Deleuze exactly who he was. But Harold lifted a hand and gave him a desperate, pleading look. Instead, he looked down at the journal sullenly. Hawley crossed his arms but said nothing. Harry turned to the taller fellow, hoping to have a little more luck with them. Hello, pleasure meeting you. The figure gave a slightest of nods. Harry's mind had a half-dozen different reasons the tall fellow might to choose to commit this social slight, and how each of them was probably his fault. He was so wrapped up in preemptive guilt that he almost missed it when the fellow did speak. Hey. A great listener, this one. I was just telling him about how marriage is a scam. Oh, exit, never change. Harold did not have the time to ask what could have caused such a topic to come up. He just got straight to nodding. Yes, spending your life with just one person would be so limiting, right? I disagree. Commitment is nice. Huh? That's not to say that life partnership doesn't have its upsides. Faraday rolled his eyes. You getting dizzy over there? Mr. Luce, did you happen to know anything about Gareth Canterbury? Just that she died and people keep talking about it. Dia Deleuze gave a careful... Do we have anything about Dia yet? Harold Ludikiel, he, him, orientation, desperate. Jerk, usually intoxicated and moping. One of the most influential demonologists of the era, but has no motivation. His house is full of nightmares that are a pain in the ass to deal with, but he's the most notable one. Bernadette Bell, she, her, tonight's host, writes the popular Constance Little Bear series of mysteries. Harry, if you're reading one, this train is great. The train is a great one. Train one is great. Yeah. Goose Downey, they, them. A hitman? Here for Bell's research. Oh, Dea Deleuze. She, her. Shipwright. Thinks she's so special because she's economically noteworthy. That is a really good definition of so many people. I love it. How about you, Goosey? Wasn't me. Outside the room, there was a lilting, melodic cry of joy. Duluce's head turned attentively. Please tell me that's what it sounds like it is. The sound of fawning excitement travelled down the hall, and before long the host and next guest appeared. Oh, they're beautiful! The door swung open, revealing a figure swathed in pink silks and sheer beaded fabric. Her eyes shone with abundant delight. Harold gave a slight gasp of enthusiasm. It's Clarice Myers. Hello, Clarice. Who? If you can't take interest in current events, we'll never have anything to talk about. We can talk about the current state of the mold in your kitchen. Oh, your parlor's beautiful. Is it the inspiration for Duchess Baker's parlor? How could you tell? I've been rereading all of her scenes. The way the bookshelf is positioned, the pattern of the chair. Yes, I picture her scheming all of her nefarious plots right in that chair over there. The energetic young lady crosses the room to run her hand along the fabric of one arm. Wow. Oh, it gives me a perfectly wicked vibe. Can I sit in it? May I sit in it? You certainly can. The young lady settled into the chair, and the innocent features of her face contorted into a sinister glare. Love it. She threw back her head and gave a laugh so chilling, goosebumps rose on the back of Faraday's neck. Oh. Try as you might for as long as you live, you'll never prove it was me, Constance Little Bear. Belle's jaw dropped. Exactly how I imagine her. I love it. Oh, this is so good. Miss Myers, I think you're disturbing the other guests. The young lady hopped up from the chair, eyes once again wide and apologetic. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm just so thrilled to see it for myself. No, Debbie, stop being such a spoilsport. Miss Myers, I could have asked the director to cast a better Duchess. You couldn't have asked the director to... Yeah, are you kidding? A preview performance right here? Sounds like she knows how to party, unlike the rest of you chumps. I love you so much, gosh. Daya poked Goose in the knee with her cane. When are you going to start doing an evil laugh? That seems like a real hitman would have. Better if they don't hear you coming. This guy's starting to creep me out. Shh, don't let them hear you. Belle and Myers, however, were still off in their own little world, fawning over each other. Oh, I hate to be a bother, but Miss Belle, can I please have you sign this copy of The Chain? I have them all with your stories in them, but this is my favorite. Constance racing to solve the murder before the train pulls into the next station, all while knowing she might be found by the conductor. It was so thrilling. Belle took the less than pristine magazine, unclipped a gleaming bronze fountain pen from her pocket. Her signature was large and loopy, in a striking indigo ink. I use this pen for all my manuscripts too. This ink just seems to make my pen flow faster. Maya's eyes sparkled with admiration as she took the signed copy back. She stared in awe as if she had just seen magic. Belle seemed to remember that the rest of her guests were there. Oh, let me introduce Miss Clarice. Clarice Myers, loved you in that one with the flower girl and the elocution lessons. Right, so Miss Clarice was in My Fair Lady. Good to know. Deleuze hopped to the front of the group, quickly shaking Myers' hand. Didn't think you had the villain in you, but you sure proved me wrong. Well, thank you. I promise I can be very evil when I want to. Oh. As Belle introduced the rest of them, Faraday used the free moment to take a couple of moments. These two are flirting now. This is some very gay flirting going on, and I'm here for it. Got more notes. Clarice Myers, she, her, stage actress, a big fan of Belle. Evil laugh. She's going to make a killer Duchess Baker. Agreed. Vance looked over Clarice, finally giving an approving nod. My dear, are you wearing your imp in your hat? Oh yes, I'm awfully glad someone noticed. It's all the fashion uptown, watch. The small creature rose from her hat, and quietly, with the poise of a ballerina, began to dance. That is amazing. I love that design. It's terrifying and beautiful at the same time. Clarice Myers sang a crystalline soprano, weaving a hauntingly pretty melody. The others all stopped what they were doing and crowded around to watch them perform. Vance smiled and Duluth stopped fidgeting. The little imp moved with grace, elegance, and far too many joints. After a moment, however, Harold crossed the room quickly, pulling chalk from his jacket pocket. Miss, allow me to... Myers did not let a hint of awkwardness or effrontery show. Oh dear, don't mind. That happens all the time. See, she can make a new one. The little imp placed a tiny hand to his cheek as if laughing off embarrassment, and its mask reformed. What a clever little trick. The imp bowed, then hid away back among the flowers of Myers' hat. Harold slunk back over into Faraday's side. Do you think it's okay? Though he had whispered, Duluth might have been feeling particularly nosy because she chirped up for us all to hear. Of course she's okay. Everybody's imps do weird stuff sometimes. Doesn't mean anything. Quite right. One look at that beautiful imp and one can easily tell that it harbors a beautiful soul. Narrative causality tells me that that is not the case. The imp is a pure expression of an artist's creative drive, her ability. One shouldn't trivialize it. There was a general agreement amidst the room while the others took to chatting. Yeah, and the artist is now working towards an evil character. Keep cooking that. Harold wandered over to the far corner and wondered if he could summon something that could drag him straight off the face of the earth. Is that really what people think nowadays? That imps are their creativity? Their souls? They break them out for fun little shows? You were gone a while, Hawley. We did all that research and the public just traded one lie for another. Look, this journal you got me writing in, it's my old notebook. I'll just open it up and show them my notes. Leave it be. Her imp is advanced, to be sure, but maybe nothing will happen. If you try to tell them this darling of stage has a demon, that if she uses it like this, it will make them stronger and more dangerous, will be mocked and maybe enforcibly removed. Aren't we responsible for at least trying to correct them? If someone gets hurt and we said nothing... Faraday was no stranger to Harold's haggard, tired expressions. But as Harold looked at him, his eyes communicated a fatigue so deep it must have taken years to accumulate. I hate this city. They'd eat a rock if you told them it was an oyster. It's a very good line. Harold's notes and demons... Ooh. Demons. Notes. Should have a good time. So to summarize as the points of presentation, demons aren't just the big monsters that lurk in the woods to destroy small villages. Everyone might have a really tiny demon running around hiding their keys or eating their socks or something. We humans contribute to them via negative emotions. The difference between a harmless or powerful demon, harmful doesn't mean how powerful we let them get. But what if Pause for effect. We could put the demons someplace where they can't feed off us. Professor Ludikiel has developed a system for capturing renegade or stray demons. We use sealing alchemy to confine demons or objects in locations, but we absolutely must take our responsibility for our own demons. The professor's goal for each person is to have the option to seal their own demon deep within themselves. The professor has already successfully done this on 2 people. Show progress on my eyes. Have the professor comment his own suppression once it's done. Let's get that funding. Okay, there is a lot going on. I love all this, all the backstory here. This is very, very cool. The doorbell rang once again. It summoned Belle and Vance away, but left Clarice to admire the room more deeply. Miss Myers, do you know anything of Gareth Canterbury? She was Miss Belle's friend who was murdered. Terrible how the papers keep sensationalizing it and hounding for her interviews. She clearly has nothing to do with it. And yet they're harassing her just because she's famous and writes about murders. All just to sell papers. It's so heartbreaking. Thank you. It's disgusting that people want to wring money out of other people's tragedies, right? Dreadful. I feel so sorry for Miss Belle. I hope you'll be gentle with her feelings tonight. She's probably trying to take her mind off that whole thing. Hawley clicked his tongue. I don't think she is. She hired me to summon her ghost. That seems so ghoulish. Literally. Whoa. This party's getting better every minute. And it'll only improve now that I'm here, gorgeous. The group turned to see the new arrival. I'm admittedly intrigued, but that's some big talk. A man waltzed into the room with utmost confidence. Oh, hello. Nice pointy ears you got there. And those the points of the ears and the points of the coat are so damn cool. Very angular character. He sported coiffed hair, a lilac waistcoat that was so out of style it bordered on kind of archaic chic, and a pair of long tapered ears. Faraday barely noticed the others entering the room. Vance supported a slightly winded Belle on her arm, helping her into a chair. Being too boring would literally kill me, so I'm very motivated. Oh, your ears! Are you Fae? I've only heard about them in books. What do his ears look like? Dea prodded the goose again with her cane, prompting them on. Cute. Subjective descriptions don't help. I love that. Ding, ding, ding. They're pointy. And very charming. Charming is subjective. Nonsense. Charming is objectively very, very me. I'm lupine flowers. And no, it isn't every day you meet a fae. Vance squinted at Lupine. I don't actually remember inviting you. I wasn't invited. But I thought that was rude. Such a collection of adorable people and me not invited? Shame. Plus, I was friends with Canterbury. Gary was very good to me. I found out you were going to be contacting her tonight. Call me romantic, but I wouldn't miss a chance at seeing her. It couldn't hurt. Well, if you're certain. Debbie, shouldn't you know better than anyone else not to turn away a fae? Nonsense. As an expert, I know that fae are all sweet, adorable, wholesome creatures. What books have you been reading? They are born amidst the cabbage patch and tenderly rock children to sleep at night. Everyone's just like, what the fuck? Yeah, these are not the words I would use to describe fae. Where did you get that nonsense? Sounds like something out of Deborah Vance's storybook. Can you get dinner started, Debbie? Awkward moment. You have the cooking and serving imps in the kitchen, don't you? Of course. Please be careful. Lupin bounced on his toes and turned to Belle with a friendly grin. What an odd pair, you and her. Her books are all stuffy, plotless fairy stories, and you write exciting, gruesome murders. Witnessing such a wild faux pas, Harold was white in the face, murmuring. He knew that she was Deborah Vance and still said that to her face? Oh God. I like Lupin. I like Lupin and I like Dea. Little prissy Miss Cabbage Patch edits all your tales of murder? You're just full of wonderfully vibrant ideas. I can see it in you, in your eyes and your writing. Lupin looked at Belle with the most adoring smile to accompany the compliment. Whatever could a frump like that bring to the table you didn't already have in spades? Oh, my ears hopped like a child in the classroom, one eager to be called on by the teacher. Miss Belle, do you mind if I tell him? Go ahead, it's infinitely more fun to hear my accomplishments come from someone else's mouth. Right? Myers dove in. Miss Belle published the first mystery under a pen name. You see, she wasn't confident in her work. Though the first name one wasn't a major hit, it got people excited about the characters, and she started to write more stories. A couple of years ago, she got picked up by the chain. That's when I found about her. That's when I started reading her as well, and you can get the chain in Arcadia, if you know the right guys. Well, eventually, Miss Belle felt comfortable enough to reveal her real name. Miss Belle was a brand new writer, but as you know, Miss Vance has been around for about 100 years, looking at those crow's feet. You only get brow creases that bad from scowling all the time. Yeah, stop scowling. Miss Vance has been around for a while longer. So she had a lot of publishing connections and she helped Miss Belle get into the industry. It's all about who you know. Anyone in publishing knows this, unfortunately. Faraday balanced the journal against his arm to add more. When Faraday looked up, Lupin was already behind him, peering over his shoulder. Wha? Another cute writer? I'm gonna get overstuffed with stories tonight. They're just notes. Oh, are you casing the joint? Faraday decided to pawn the attention off as quickly as possible. Harold over there is going to case the joint completely. Get all salty. I wouldn't touch a thing. I'm not allowed to. It's for the seance. Belle does have some amazing things though. She's been collecting occult items. That's what I read. You can see in some of her gorgeous curio case over there. Duluth scolded Goose. You didn't tell me about what's in the curio case. I didn't look. Well, how about I give you all a tour? This pair of silver rods is supposed to be useful for finding hidden items. The spike is my most recent purchase. The seller said it was the tooth of a toxic shark demon. I got it off eBay. The seller had 3 stars to their name. Oh, Goosey, why is it stained? Is it stained with blood? Goose grins. Nah, but it's about the size of your fist. Whoa. The set of candles is from the first successful angel summoning. Faraday leaned over and whispered to Harold, that's not a thing, right? Some demons are good liars. These coins are said to be clues that lead to a treasure map. Something to keep me busy once I retire, I suppose. Invite me along for that one. I definitely want treasure discoverer on my resume. Down here is a device that reacts to ghostly presence. I plan to test it tonight. Miss Belle, please don't get your hopes up. Devices like that tend to be completely fake. Unlike Harry here. Faraday muttered under his breath. This last one is a personal favorite. It's a listening device that can pick up people's inner thoughts that are floating around in the air. I've heard a lot of interesting things in the ether. Incredible, but you must hear such strange things. They can be strained and difficult to decipher, but they really can push me right through when I'm feeling stuck. The inner mind is such an intriguing place. With others distracted, Harold shook his head in disbelief. The doorbell chimed again and Belle smiled as she excused herself. Most of the group stayed crowded around the case admiring the items, but Faraday and Harold pulled back to talk privately. If you're going to be selling fake seances, then we may as well get into selling the fake artifact business too. Demon sharks. Hurley called his fingers with both hands, pantomizing a large pair of jaws. He chomped them on Harold's arm. For the briefest of moments, Harold smiled. Oh, a little smile. But it quickly gave way to his usual demeanor. I certainly hope they're all fake. What if one of those was actually someone's severed imp? It could get loose and hurt someone. Speaking of getting loose, maybe we should get to sealing those windows. I don't want to miss dinner because I'm hanging off the roof putting salt down for you. I at least want to meet all the guests first. And we barely found anything about Canterbury. True, I guess you need to make this as convincing as possible. Though looking at the case, it seems like she's the type to believe you can move without rowing. Hey, we'll be right back. I'm going off on a little unauthorized tour with a cutie on my arm. Of course you are. Of course you are. No telling, okay? You only get to peek into other people's houses on rare occasion. Deleuze and Lupine slid out of the room before anyone could give any kind of objection. Wow. Actually, I'm curious what it says about Lupine. Lupine Flowers. He, him. A fae. Friends with Canterbury. Not much yet. Damn, that fae was the only one who claimed he knew Canterbury. Be great to know what kind of thing Belle's expecting to ask her. I would assume it's something about the murder. That or confessing some sort of feelings. That would have been a lot easier. If not more ethical. Bernadette Belle re-entered the room just for a moment, followed by a formally dressed military man. His boots made a loud, crisp sound as he walked. Unless we were graced by more fae, this is our final guest. Lieutenant Marek Newell. Getting a lot of Mareks in games these days. The man who now darkened the parlor doorway caused Hawley to narrow his eyes. You know him? When you've been at sea as long as I have, you know one, you know them all. Noack showed Clarice a smile. It's good to see I have some other guests I can recognize. I went to your first show on a date with the woman who would be my future wife. She loves your work. Oh, how sweet. Have you gotten yourself someone special? No, I'm not interested in that kind of thing. At least not in real life. Oh, hey, we got some Canon Ace rep. Hell yeah. A girl as pretty as you? You're very flattering, Lieutenant. But as I said, I'm not really interested. Let ace people be ace. Deal with it. You don't have to come up with excuses. Like I said, you look very... Oh ho 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 ho. You couldn't afford the Duchess's tea, let alone upkeep her lifestyle. I like Maya's lifestyle. I must go. My flock of peacocks requires a solid tutting. What? I don't know what quite is going on, but I love it. Noack made to follow, but Faraday moved quickly in the way. Hey Noack, didn't you say you were married? Butt out. What does it matter with you, who she is or isn't interested in? No one was talking to you, Porky. You're the porky one, water pig. Oh, I love Faraday. I love Faraday. Oh. Noack stepped towards Faraday. who stared him down right back. The metals on Lieutenant Noak's chest shifted, opening to reveal a scramble of glaring eyes. Step aside or I'll step on you. Faraday's angle jerked aside at an odd angle, and he barely kept it from twisting. His hands trembled. Leave her alone. Luckily for Faraday, Bell chose that moment to return to the parlor. Lieutenant Narek, I asked you please not use your imps on my guests. I hope something horrible happens to this guy right here. Something really horrible. That one is dangerous. They're all dangerous. Not at all. It only helps make sure people listen to what they're told. It's essential to have discipline in the military. What a pig. But we're not in the military. I was just giving him a scare as a joke. I wasn't going to do anything. We're all friends here. Marek shoved Faraday a bit roughly, knocking him off balance. Harry managed to catch his arm. Howley, don't make a scene. I don't think I could if I want to. What the hell kind of imp is that? See? He's fine. So you said all imps are dangerous? Of course, any imp could destroy a man. Well, I assume that means yours is quite ferocious. Because if you had a demon, I'd have to do my duty by the law. I just see things. Noah gave a low, deep chuckle. I will be sure to beware then. Harry cleared his throat and tried to pull his friend aside, out of the line of fire. We should probably start getting this place sealed. I'll take my assistant with me then. Harold gave an apologetic smile to Belle. Beryl turned it with a warm glance of her own, its shun genuine. Thank you, Dr. Ludacille. Ludacille? That Ludacille? Isn't he under house arrest? Laughter interrupted from outside the parlor. Whatever Narek had been about to say, he was soon miles away. His attention had been completely diverted. I'll show you, because I mean, really, anywhere I'm locked out of. Bam. Dea, so good to see you. At the sound of Lieutenant Narek's voice, Deleuze froze and turned to walk right back out the way she came. So, Mr. Flowers, need a light for your cigarette? Oh no, you'd be amazed what I can do with fire. Let's find a big room and I'll show you. Faraday smirked as they left. Huh, trouble with the missus? Seems like she's not that into you, deckhand. She's just being playful. It's her way. Holly, let's go. Harold picked up his large container of salt and the pair left the room. And I think that's where we'll leave it. Holy crap, I am deeply engrossed in this game already. But I think this is a good place to leave it. Don't want to spoil too much. But story, fantastic. Characters, incredible. Art, amazing. Loving the music. This is good stuff. It is fun and queer and weird. And if there's something that I very much enjoy, it's weird queerness. And this is very much doing it for me. And has many of my feels going on here. So yes, I am very much digging this, and I am going to be playing a lot more of it off stream. But thank you for sharing these games with me today. As always, I appreciate everyone's support and assistance with the Digital Diversity Project. You can follow us here on Twitch. You can follow us over on YouTube, YouTube at the Digital Diversity Project. You can support us over on Ko-fi. Links are all down there below. Please go and get these games. Go get the games, play the games, and then rate the games, and tell people you love the games. Digital Diversity is here to show off the kinds of awesome games that just do not get enough attention out there in the world. And I want to see them played, and I want to see them loved, because they deserve it. So, yeah. thank you, everyone. Go and pick up Zen, a gay sequel. Go and pick up The Case of the Serialized Killer. Go follow the people who make them online, because you never know what awesome games they will come up with next. Yeah. Be proud of yourself. Make things that you're proud of. Make things that are different and weird and out there and queer as fuck. And if you are a queer game developer and you have a game that you want to share or you want to see shown off, you can catch me at NBKaiju on Twitter. Just say hi and point out the game that you've made and I will have a look at it. So yeah, thank you everyone. Until next time, look after yourselves, look after each other, remember that you are not alone, be proud of who you are, be proud of what you do, and keep being absolutely incredible. And I will be back next time for more digital diversity and more queer as fuck games. Stay safe out there, everyone. Sending you love. Ciao.